say.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Psychedelic Laundromat. We are open for business for the next 2 hours. So, hopefully, all of you are enjoying yourselves on this 3-day weekend because Monday is MLK Day and most of us have off from work. And a lot of you are probably going to be excited because it's football playoff season and everybody's probably going to be spending the weekend, the majority of the country, I should say, not anybody here, but everybody's probably going to be relaxing, getting ready for the games. And since that cold weather's coming, is specifically everywhere across the country, including myself, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to get like 50 degrees tomorrow and Sunday, so we're all getting prepared for it. So hopefully all of you are too. So why not just have a little fun tonight and let's talk some Simpsons shit for season 2. If you like what we've been doing so far, make sure to help us with that engagement. You know, take a like. You can't take likes. What am I saying? Hit that like button and subscribe to us if you want to see more content like this.
Once you get
Apologize.
notified, just hit the bells for notifications for where we upload our next episode.
Yeah, and just to be forewarned, that notification bell oftentimes does not work because YouTube has this thing where they don't want you to know specific channels are going live or have videos uploaded. So make sure you check in your subscriptions in the subscription area to make sure that you're watching us live, making sure that we're live for anything. I apologize for not having a show on Wednesday. It's been a very long week, specifically for me, because I had family come in all the way from New York. And let me tell you about my New York family. They want to do everything, and it's nonstop. Like, they go like a mile a minute. They're like Sonic if they were Italian. So that's the best way I can describe my New York family. So
I was thinking Energizer Bunny.
that too. That too.
Going and going and going.
Yeah, that too. So we gone to so many, like, the last night we had together, we went to Rocco's Tacos, which is like a Mexican joint that's like very famous down here. I'm sure it's in other places, but yeah. So I was just like so tired, and I was like, I can't do Ace Attorney shit. But on Wednesdays we do Ace Attorney. We finished one part. We're moving on to the second part. So on Wednesday we'll get to that again. I apologize again for not doing that. And yeah, let's get ready for some Simpsons stuff. Oh, what were you gonna say, Circus?
I realized it's just Friday the 13th. That means Jason movies tonight. Yeah.
Oh yes, that is right. The superstition of Friday the 13th, where everything is unlucky.
Bro, I actually, in one of my games, I actually got lucky and got a couple of UR cards out of it in my game.
Well, good. You've proven the stereotype wrong then.
I think I used my luck up already, because, I don't know, like a few days ago, or whenever this was, I got a shiny in Pokemon Go, and I can't get the shiny I'm trying to get for something else.
If only you had that shiny charm that they introduced.
Well,
no, it's for Gen 5, but it's like at the way beginning. Didn't even know it was a shiny because it didn't look that different.
Shoot,
yeah, shiny Squirtle the party had.
Okay, if I'm like a little bit like distance, I'm watching a live stream at the moment of a live pedo catch from CC Unit, so don't mind me.
Wait, what?
What?
These guys like catch pedophiles online, you know, talking to them and get them arrested and shit. And they're doing
the
a live
Hansen
stream.
stuff.
Yeah, but it's called CC Unit, and the guy's in charge of it name's Ghost. So shout out to them. I love them. Keep our streets
clean.
clean.
Someone gets tased.
It never happens.
Don't tase me, bro.
I want to see somebody tased. I think every pedophile should be fucking like just get his thingy cut off.
Fixed like a dog.
Yeah, fix him. Fix him. Make him a eunuch.
Give him the Bob Barker treatment.
Sonic.
I was.
I'm
what? What? Yes, Italian.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Italian Sonic.
I thought you were gonna go like mastectomy, but or vasectomy. Sorry.
I'm sorry, but anybody who hurts a kid should be destroyed down there.
Yes.
No question.
Have their brains donated to science.
Mm-hmm.
Go the Albert Einstein route and get your dick cut off. There you go.
I think your ass automatically should go to the murder cell of the jail, so you probably get killed.
Well, I mean, you know what they do. I mean, you know what they do. I mean, they treat them like they're like the devil over there.
Oh yeah, they don't stand up. They don't like pedos over there, or they call them Chesters, which I did not know found out after I named my cat. That's still like
how ironic is that?
Ironic.
I know, right?
Great job.
I mean, they could have just like made like a prison turn into like make it like an amusement park and have the prisoners become like the entertainment, like in Dead Man Wonderland. Dead Man Wonderland.
I just want to
have to get you guys.
So about those Simpsons.
Yeah, the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's go.
Sorry.
I have to know, does Dr. Monroe make his appearance again in this season?
Sorry, Circus had to get her frustrations out first before we got started.
It's fine.
I hate pedophiles.
Same.
Not the rest of society.
All right, back to my question. Is Dr. Monroe in this season? Because
yes, he is.
My Dr. Monroe.
Yes, he
Yay!
is. Yes, he is. So the first episode that we will start with is called "Two Cars in Every Garage and Three Eyes on Every Fish."
Weird title.
Well,
oh God, is that the one with the three-eyed fish?
Yes. Which makes its second appearance.
And Mr. Burns is finding out it's caused by the nuclear power plant.
Yes.
Because
so Bart and Lisa are out fishing by the nuclear power plant, and there's a reporter that's just going by like, yeah, I'm just trying to find a good story. It doesn't have a southern accent, but Bart catches a fish and it's got three eyes. So the governor's like, oh, we need to investigate this power plant and see why the fish has such nuclear eyes like that. The inspectors go to the nuclear plant and they said, like, this plant is not up to code. And Mr. Burns is like, oh wait, you mean to tell me I've got to spend $56 million to... First of all, he tries to bribe the inspectors. They don't take the bait, so they're like, look, we'll shut this plant down if you don't get it up to code. It's going to cost $56 million. And of course, Burns starts becoming like the saddest man on earth after that point. It's like when Elon Musk became the Guinness Book of World Record holder for losing the most money in a year. It's like the one billionaire that cries when he doesn't get what he wants.
My money!
Oh man, who the fuck was that one band who was made fun of on South Park because they couldn't buy their third jet? That's what I'm thinking of.
I think it's Britney Spears that was that one.
Oh no, it wasn't Britney Spears. It was like a very specific band. Like I can't remember.
Blink-182.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen that episode.
You can always look that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch the show, so I don't know any references. The only episode I really know of South Park is that one WWE episode where they just make fun of it. So that's the only one I know.
Oh shit, he's running. Sorry.
Anyway, so Homer ends up just working late because he fell asleep on the job. And so...
Of course.
So in the parking lot, he sees Burns crying, and Burns is like, oh, you are me and our dying breed, Simpson. Come in my car. And then he starts talking about his woes to Homer, and he's like, you know, if I was I was just telling the wife that if I was governor, I would change a lot of things in this country, in this state. And then he convinces Mr. Burns to run for governor so that he could basically do what the fuck he wants. Like not having
Damn
to
it,
pay
Homer.
like not having to pay $56 million to upgrade your fucking plant.
Oh no.
God damn it, Homer. You just
Homer, you idiot.
opened up a can of worms. He just opens up a big can of worms there.
And yeah, also Marge in this episode. Oh, by the way, do you still want me to do the Gilbert Gottfried voice for Marge? Because that's what I did the last time. She's like,
gosh.
She's like, I like that Mary Bailey. She's the best governor in the state. And how dare you want to vote for Burns, Homer? Because Homer's like, I'm voting for Burns because if I don't, he'll fire me.
Aren't those supposed to be anonymous?
Well, he's definitely a spokesperson for him. Homer is. And so like the whole family comes divided because Homer's going to vote for the current governor Marge is going to vote for the current governor, and then Homer's just going to vote for Burns because it's his boss. So it's a basically politically divided house at this point, where Lisa's on Marge's side and Bart is on Homer's side. And then
don't get confused with the Greek Homer.
Sorry, I'm not seeing this. Yes, not the guy that wrote the Odyssey.
No, he said, Homer, you fool, not confused with the Greek Homer.
Yeah, I know. That's the guy. Yeah, Homer wrote the Odyssey.
Who also, according to theory, is the voice in Hades.
Well, is that the stream in the background, Circus?
Yes, I just turned it down.
Because I could hear it. If I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
The guy just fucking ran, so they're trying to get the cops right now.
We got to get you some headphones. Sorry.
No, it's on my TV, that's why.
Anyway, so Burns gets a campaign team, and they're like, we're gonna smear your opponent, and we're gonna make you look like an angel. So the one thing that they have Burns do is they have him do like one of those public service announcements, where they try to paint him as like a good guy, and like, why was there a three-eyed fish in your pond? Well, here's what the real deal is. It's actually an evolved form of fish. And they bring on this actor who pretends to be Charles Darwin. It's like, Charles, tell us why this is the advancement of the evolution of fish. And
really?
And then even goes so far as to say, a three-eyed fish would be a delicacy in any seafood restaurant.
That would be disgusting.
No shit.
And of course, the PSA goes off without a hitch. It's like everybody in town is like, "Ooh, that Burns is exactly what this country needs. Young blood." Even though he's like in his 80s.
Yeah.
I thought he was older than that. Hold on.
No, he's 81 in the show.
Yeah, but it makes him out sound like he was like older, much older, because I thought he was over at least 100.
Well, in season 2, they make him out to be 81 because there's an episode in this season where he actually says how old he is. Anyway, so after the campaign goes off without a hitch, the campaign advisor says, like, okay, Burns, you need to actually like sit down with like a family and actually have dinner with them because that's gonna get people to vote for you. It's like, well, if you could sit with the common people, the peasants. And if you could treat the peasants really well, you'll do well in your campaign and you'll become governor. So they just randomly pick. Well, actually, they don't randomly pick. They say, hey, Homer's family would be a good choice. Let's go to his house.
Oh, no.
And so they actually feed questions to, like, Lisa specifically. And Lisa's just like, why can't I ask my own questions? Why do I have to ask only questions that you tell me to? It's like, because we're trying to do a campaign, you dick.
It's like, can't they just ask my question about how it wages my fears? I was talking about the planet being somewhat, the duration, like the decline of it's inevitable. Like
I was
that.
like, no.
I can't
Yeah.
remember the quote.
And he's just like, no, the question on the card is actually the only good question.
But I think the non-card question is very. Then Bard says.
March. Oh, by the way, it's like, by the way, he had to convince Homer had to convince Marge to let Burns stay in the house so that they can have dinner. And it's like, kids, I need to speak to your mother in private. Please, 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 please. And she reluctantly agrees because, as we know, with consent, if you wear down somebody, a simple yes does not actually mean consent. So she basically got pressured into it.
Why does that remind me that Alpha Quota was like 50 no's and a yes is a yes?
Yeah, that's basically the manosphere thing. Which, by the way, a lot of us guys have been guilty of at least once in their lifetime. So any guy that says, like, including myself, any guy that has said like they have not done that, they're lying to you. So, you know, it's at one point we just have to learn from that. At that point.
It sounds like a weird childish thing where, like, you know, little kids like, oh, please, 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 please.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. He just got down on two knees and he just went, please, 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 like a little kid.
And the fact that he sent the kids, like Bart, Lisa, and Maggie out of the room for that.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, I gotta show that I'm a man, like in person, but not necessarily in private. But Marge, of course, does not like the whole thing because she feels like she's being used as a ploy and she can't express herself. At some point, like, Homer tries to snuggle with Marge in bed and she's like, I don't want to snuggle with somebody who won't let me express myself. And Homer says, but you do get to express yourself with the lovely home you keep and the food you serve.
Oh my God.
God.
Talk about 1950s bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
But actually, she does take that advice and uses it to her advantage. So she actually, she basically destroys Burns' campaign. It was foreshadowing though, because she's like, "Yep, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Good night." It's like, what?
Nice going, Homer.
Mm-hmm.
So their family is set. So Burns is there with the campaign people, and they got cameras all around because they're all capturing this on live TV. And then, of course, like, hey, Bart, do you mind saying grace? And says, dear Lord, we paid for all this stuff ourselves, so thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing.
Oh God.
Which, by the way, that line was improvised by Nancy Cartwright, the voice actress who voiced Bart, and nobody knew that she was going to say that. And she did this in one take. After the take was done, the entire cast and crew were laughing so hard that they had to actually take a break for a while.
I can actually see my future kid actually saying something like that. That'd be too much like me.
Same. I probably would be proud of my kid if they said that too.
Thanks for nothing.
You're welcome.
It's like that one Who's Line thing. It's like, I guess that's the way the Lord intended it, right, my Lord? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, this whole episode is a parody of us. This episode takes us some influence from Citizen Kane, one of the considered to be the greatest movie ever made. And if
I've never seen it.
I mean, it's a 40s movie, so I don't know if there's going to be anybody today that will really like it because of just how not that because it's out of touch, but just because like the people have been exposed to so many different forms of cinema over the years that seeing a black and white movie in today's day and age, like people are just going to get bored really easily because they've just been exposed to like what today's movies are all about. I mean, the only reason you should watch Citizen Kane is if you're taking like a film studies course, to be quite honest.
I don't
with
mind
you.
watching black and white films. I mean, I just never got around to watching it.
Yeah, and it's not really like it's not on any streaming service, I don't think. So it's like it's a very tough movie to actually find too. I mean, I think it was on an Amazon Prime only for like a certain amount of time, and then they never put it back up again. But yeah, they have a lot of references to that movie in there, and Burns plays the Orson Welles character to a T. But the episode is basically a parody of like the current political scene at the time, and it's also a pro climate change episode as well.
Like, is that the movie where the guy's on the fucking bomb riding it down from the fucking like plane or something?
No.
Because
Citizen Kane is a movie where they're trying to find out what Rosebud is, because those were apparently Orson Welles' last words before he died. And so they're trying to find what is Rosebud? Like what is that? Like what is it? And so it turns out it was actually a sled that he abandoned when he was a little kid. And the whole movie is basically a commentary on, like, if only he had a childhood, he wouldn't turn out to be such an asshole. Because the guy in the Orson Welles in the movie was like this big freedom of speech and big freedom of the press guy, that he even wrote a friend's critique of him. Like after the guy quit the paper, he was like, you know what? He wrote a scathing review on me, but I'm gonna put it down in writing in my own paper just because I love the freedom of the press so much, even if it was against his own interests. But
So hold on, I gotta say this. There's lost media regarding the colorized footage of Citizen Kane. Where it's only partially found.
Yeah, it's always been a topic of debate, even when I was in college at the time.
Thank you, Mr. L. He said the one I was talking about was Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, that was actually a Stanley Kubrick movie. But anyway, he keeps doing like all these speeches about like how he's going to lower taxes, Mr. Burns, because that's always been the Republican tagline: lower taxes for all the wealthy people, and we'll just make all the peasants believe that we're lowering their taxes when we're really not. But anyway, so Marge comes up with this plan to like, oh, what's for dinner, Marge? And it turns out it's the same three-eyed fish from earlier.
And the one Bart caught?
Yes. And it's like, okay, Burns, now you got to eat this fucking fish because you said it was a delicacy. Burns can't swallow it. He actually spits it out. And then and all the photographers take pictures of the fish being spit out before it even hits the ground.
Damn.
And then all of his campaign people are like, well, that's it. His career is over. He's done. And then as he's leaving, Burns says, Simpson, I shall make this the focus of my remaining years, that your dreams will go unfulfilled.
Uh-oh. You're busted, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. And then Marge just reassures him, like, nope, he's not going to do that, because he's just going to forget who you are anyway, because that's his gimmick in each episode. He just forgets who you are. All right. Next episode is called Simpson and Delilah. This one is Homer getting hair.
Oh, I remember that.
This was actually the company Demoxenol is the name of the company that designs this miracle breakthrough in hair growth for bald guys. And of course, you can't afford it because it costs a lot of money. So he decides to do it through his own health insurance at work. That's how he's going to pay for it. Which I didn't even know you could do. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently you can do that. Of course, the company's not going to like it. But yeah, so he gets that Demoxenol, and the next day after using it, he gets all his hair back. And it's
going to go wrong, isn't it? Like he becomes a Sasquatch. I'm calling it now.
No. He just gets a full head of hair, like as long as Samson's in the Bible, of the story of Samson. where he had long locks of hair,
Yes.
and then Delilah cut it because it's like, well, we need to get rid of his power because the hair gives him his strength.
Yeah.
Wait a fucking minute. Is that where they got that Donkey Kong plot where he lost his hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't wait to.
God.
And
I
he
can't.
looked terrible.
I can't wait to talk about
And
that show.
And in Skullgirls, there's the character with Cillian. His name is Samson, and he had a previous host. He was named Delilah, whom apparently died some time ago.
I can't wait to talk about that show. We can actually watch it on here.
He is hyped, everybody. Buckle your seatbelt.
We can actually watch it, because I don't think the YouTube channel is going to mind us playing that, because they don't mind at all anymore. The show's been around for like 30 years, so...
Yeah, but knowing Nintendo, they'll probably get pissy.
No, it's not Nintendo. Nintendo could care less. It's the Canadian company.
Couldn't care less.
Yes,
All
that's
right.
what I meant.
Maybe we could try it out one night.
Oh, we will. But Homer wakes up with a full head of hair, and he goes around like saying, "Good morning, Springfield." He ends up meeting somebody. He ends up meeting somebody else who got Demoxydal, and there's like they look at each other. They go, "Demoxydal!" and they start hooting and hollering and hugging each other.
For a moment, it sounded like that weird Spider-Man meme, you know, the point thing.
Yes, I mean technically that's what it is. And just put Demoxydal in front of the meme. So Homer's personality starts changing. Like he's getting friskier in bed with Marge. Like Patty and Selma start drooling over Homer. It's like, that is Homer? Oh my.
Isn't one of them supposed to be a lesbian?
One of them...
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that later in the circuit.
This was early on in the fucking series, so it wasn't established one of them was gay, so there you go. So
Yeah.
I can see
It's
it.
Patty. It's Patty who...
And there is a Patty episode later on in this season, actually. So we'll talk to that. We'll get to that later. But all of a sudden, Homer gets promoted at work because he has hair now. And so he's trying to hire a new assistant at work, and he calls Marge. He's like, "Man, all these women that want the job just undress me with their eyes." All of a sudden, this gay guy named Carl comes in. He's like, "Hello, Homer. I am
God.
Carl."
Oh, God.
Because they actually got Harvey Fierstein, who's a very openly gay actor at the time. He was probably one of the most well-known gay actors of the early 90s. They wanted to make the character look exactly like the actor, but he was like, "No, I don't look like a gay person when people look at me." If you take a look at a current picture of him, like you wouldn't even tell. Like that was his problem. I don't look like how gay people are supposed to look on TV. So no, don't use my image. So he told Matt Groening, "Look, just make my character blonde, tall, and gorgeous and skinny, and just give me a beautiful place to live. Like give me the richest house you can think of." So Homer immediately hires Carl, and Carl calls him a fraud because he's wearing like the worst lime green suit imaginable. And so Carl takes Homer shopping for like suits and everything. He's like, "A man's suit should make him feel like a prince. It should cry out to the world, 'Here I am. Don't judge me, love me.'" And so he does all this stuff for him. Carl even goes out of his way to send a one of those songograms, like one of those singers that goes to people's houses and sings like the stuff like that. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
Singogram,
yeah. Carl actually goes out of his way to do that for Marge because Homer forgot it was their anniversary.
Oh God.
And it's like, oh,
God
thank you.
damn it.
It's like, oh, thank you, Carl. Thank you for remembering. He's like, I love you, Homer. I love you, Carl. Marge.
Uh,
And of course, Smithers starts getting jealous because Mr. Burns is paying a lot more attention to Homer than he is him.
Of course. Of fucking course.
Like even Burns allows Homer to see like his private office, and Carl's like, stunning, absolutely stunning. And so Smithers gets so jealous to the point he goes into like Homer's medical records to try to find out why he ended up becoming so successful overnight. And then it turns out like he finds out like he charged the health insurance money to get the baldness cure medicine. And the reason why they said he needed it was to keep his brain from freezing. So after Smithers tells Burns, like Burns is like, okay, we need to fire Homer. It's like, okay. But then all of a sudden, like Carl ends up taking the blame for it, and then starts saying like it was all his idea to give Homer the thing, and Homer had nothing to do with it. So Carl laid on the sword for his boss.
Aww. Bro.
Basically,
that's a real bro right there, guys.
And then it's like, and by the way, Homer's got to give a big speech the next day, and he's like, oh my god, I don't have Carl. They know all about my, they all know about my my thing. What am I gonna do? At least I got my hair.
Oh god.
And by the way, he needs to keep putting that Demoxenil in his head, otherwise, like he's gonna start losing all of it immediately.
Jeez.
And so of course, Bart sees the Demoxenil on the thing, and he's like, "Ooh, I can use this to grow a beard."
Oh boy!
And then spills all of it on the ground. And and then Homer gives us like, "Okay, Bart, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna say 3 things that are gonna ruin you for the rest of your life. You've ruined your father. You crippled your family, and baldness is hereditary."
Oh no!
No.
So Homer wakes up the next day and realizes that he can't afford the Demoxenil anymore, so he turns bald instantly. He goes into work the next day thinking like, oh, I gotta do this speech in front of people with my bald head. Carl tries to give him a pep talk and actually writes down his entire speech for him before he leaves.
Oh.
It's like, it's like the only reason you didn't get the job because you got your hair. You know why you got this job? Because you were a hard worker. You could do this. So it's like, no, I'm not. I'm a fool. No, you're not. Why? Because my mom told me never to kiss a fool. Mwah.
Damn.
He kisses him right on the lips too. So I mean, we're talking.
Baby!
Yeah, we're talking about consent here, though. It's like I don't think Homer would. I don't think Homer would have been okay with that in real life. But anyway, so the meeting the speech goes horribly because nobody takes him seriously because he doesn't have hair. And of course, Smithers is just like jumping up and down in the corner like, ha ha, you got screwed. Burns likes me more.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
He's not gonna fuck you, man. He's not gonna fuck you.
Who the fuck pissed in your Cheerios today?
Or shit in your cornflakes.
Yeah.
So Burns calls Homer to his office. He says, I'm not going to fire you because I'm 81 years old, Homer, and I know what it's like to be bald and lose your hair. I'm giving you a second chance. I'm going to give you your old job back at working as a safety inspector.
Ah, man.
So back to the status quo, as always, with cartoons. With masculine storylines. And then Homer's sad because it's like, well, now that I don't have my hair, I'm never gonna make enough money. I'm just gonna be like a poor sap, and you're not gonna love me as much because I don't have hair anymore.
She loved you when you didn't even have hair, you idiot.
Oh, she starts singing to him about how beautiful he is, and that's how the episode ends. So it's like, I will love you no matter what you look like. It's like, Homer, you gotta be out of your damn mind if you think I'm gonna love you just because you don't have hair on your head. Alright, next episode, Bart gets an F.
Oh, God, this one. God damn it.
Yeah, final exams are coming around, and Bart keeps failing. And he keeps putting off his studies to the point where he has to go to the twins, Sherry and Terry, to get, like, answers that he thinks are going to be correct on the test until Martin tells him, like, a monkey has a better chance of passing this test than you do.
Yeah, I remember them giving the wrong answer.
Martin?
Yes, Martin.
Yep.
And by the way, this episode was made as a response because a lot of conservative parents were like, Bart is not a good role model for children.
He's not supposed to be a fucking role model.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, and the show creators were like, yeah, there are no role models in real life, so why do people expect role models to come from television shows?
Fuck's sake. The show was supposed to be targeted towards adults, idiot, not children.
And it was supposed to be making fun of stereotypes and certain, like, I mean, what is the other word? Certain tropes in TV shows.
Yeah, like the Cosby, Leave It to Beaver, etc.
Which, by the way, like, the reason why they've had so many episodes focused on Bart in the beginning, because they realized Bart was a ratings booster, and they really wanted to beat the Cosby Show out every night. So that's why they had so many episodes focused on Bart, because they really wanted to beat Bill Cosby.
And they did.
Idea aged like milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bart tries to fake being sick so that he doesn't have to take the test, so that he can just get the answers from Milhouse. But of course, Milhouse got the worst grade out of everyone in the class. So Bart gets an even worse grade than Milhouse did. So finally, Mrs. Krabappel is just gonna bring in the parents in and then talk about, have the child psychologist tell Bart, like, listen, you're gonna have to repeat the 4th grade. And even to the point where Bart's like, no, I could pass the 4th grade. I could do good on my next test. Please don't do this to me. Like, there's even one moment where he asks Otto, like, do you think being left back is a great thing? It's like, yeah, it could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Look at me. I drive the school bus.
Oh, Lord. Otto.
Oh, Lord. God, that ain't good advice there, bud. I know you tried. You tried. That's all I'm going to say.
There's even a dream sequence where Bart has where he's still in the 4th grade when he's like 40 years old. And
yeah,
bro.
Like the teacher's like, Krabappel's like, what was the pirate's name in Treasure Island? Bart Simpson? Look, lady, I got a technical, sir, a wife hogging me for a new car, and I need a real root canal. Will you quit bugging me about the pirate?
Don't they kick you out after
Heard
a certain
that, Bart Jr.? I want to see both of you after class today.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, son. So Bart tries to get Martin's help to try to study harder. It's like, well, what's in it for me? And Bart says, well, I can make sure that the other kids don't laugh at you so much. And he's like, wait, they laugh at me? I'm the most popular kid in school. You're not. Watch this. He just pushes him, and they all laugh at him. But wait, but my speed with numbers, me being a hall monitor, my prize-winning dioramas, things mean nothing to them? Here's another demonstration. Pushes him.
Another demonstration.
I was like, okay, you made your point, Bart. So they teach each other, but then Martin becomes so obsessed with trying to bully other kids that he's like, the Martin Prince you made a deal with no longer exists.
Fuck you, Martin.
Damn.
I said it once, I'll say it again. Fuck you, Martin.
So as a last resort, Bart decides to pray to God. It's like, please do something to make sure that we don't go to school the next day.
Here comes the snow.
Yes,
and Lisa overhears.
It's like prayer.
The last refuge of a scoundrel.
Mm-hmm. And of course, there's a big snow day, and like Bart's about ready to go outside, and then Lisa stops him and says, "You prayed for this, Bart, and you owe God back." So it's like, okay, I gotta study. And of course, everyone else
gets so distracted by the snow.
What did you say?
Yeah, I think this was before she turned to Buddhism.
Yes. And so of course, he tries to remember what happened on the Declaration of Independence, but he keeps thinking the Founding Fathers are going to play out in the snow.
The snow.
Look, everybody, it's snowing. In the middle of July, it's a miracle. Fellas,
No, there was no snow, or else it would be recorded.
Look, everybody, John Hancock's writing his name in the snow.
Oh, God. Oh.
That's what they used to call it. That's what they used to call signatures back in the day, John Hancock's.
I know, but he's writing his name in the snow with P.
That's the joke.
Yellow snow.
No.
Yellow snow.
Yellow snow.
So Bart takes his exam, and he asks for Bopple to grade it now, and he gets a 59. So he failed again, and just breaks down in tears.
And then all the right answers started to come out of his mouth.
Well, then he's like, oh, now I know how George Washington felt when he surrendered to Fort Necessity to the French in 1754. And he's like, what?
Yep, she was like, my God, you just demonstrated acquired knowledge. And then she just, switched it over to 60.
Yeah, she just
barely passing.
Yeah, it's like she just gave him extra credit. He's like, I got a D-. I passed.
And then he kisses the teacher. He runs home and he's like, ew, I kissed the teacher.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now we're getting into...
That one part just hit way too hard, you know?
Well, yeah, because I know there's a lot of people that empathize with Bart on that scenario, because there are people out there that they study really hard, and it's just that it just doesn't happen.
It's just like screw it. It's basically, or is it just like the school system just deciding to fuck people over?
Well, that too. I mean, you could also say it's a systemic issue, but that's a topic for another day. All right, now we're gonna get to Circus's favorite episodes. You want to guess what that is?
Oh gosh.
Bring in the doctor!
No, not that.
Treehouse of Horror!
Yes, the Treehouse of Horror episode.
Oh yes.
The very first
Love this one.
By the way, they had to put
very first Treehouse of Horror.
They had to put a disclaimer. They had to have Marge go out there. It's like, this episode is very scary.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. We get it, Marge.
They are very classic, those old ones, and the current ones don't match up.
Well, yeah, that's because they just ran out of material.
Yep.
I was yeah. So this what? By the way, that disclaimer that Marge gave actually made kids want to watch the episode more, which is why the ratings were so good when the ratings came out.
Ironic.
So, and by the way, the Treehouse of Horror episodes are not canon to the timeline. So you could say that they're alternative timelines.
Which makes them better.
I just imagine there was just one of the family members telling a story about, based on their... those episodes where, certain characters read stories from, books and the characters are those characters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pictured it like that.
like the Passover episode from Rugrats.
Yep.
But
Similar to that.
But in this Treehouse of Horror, they're doing things that Bart and Lisa are telling scary stories in the treehouse. Bart's first story is like a house that can actually talk, and can do. And
bad dream house. That's where you see like the people like those images like where Homer, Lisa, and Bart and Maggie were about to kill each other with blades.
It's like, they are all against you, Bart. You must kill them all. They all must die. Are you my conscience? Yes, I am.
Lisa, the butcher knife, Lisa.
Yeah, exactly. And then Maggie's head turns like an owl.
just like in Trainspotting.
Yes.
Then Homer got a fucking axe.
It's like,
they are all against me. They all must die.
And Marge is just in the kitchen making a sandwich.
She runs in
with
on
a freaking kitchen knife.
She's just looking at everybody. He's like, "Stop that, all of you!" It's like, "Oh, sorry, Bart. Sorry, Marge. Sorry, Bart.
We're leaving."
I'm sorry, but this is the first time we've had squabbles before. But this is the first time butcher knives have been used, and I blame this house.
But it turns out that it was on an ancient Native American burial ground.
Yep.
Yeah, which they took out for censorship reasons on like the TV and everything. They skipped over that whole thing.
I had that on the VHS too.
Yeah,
I had it on the VHS, and that was what they showed.
The episode on the VHS, and that was there.
Yep.
So Marge gives the house an ultimatum. It's like, you better start wanting to live with us, otherwise we're not going anywhere. And the house.
And then
like,
it chose to kill itself rather than live with them.
Yeah, it's like, wow, you
can't help but feel
a little
rejected.
I just remember Bart fucking like asking him to bleed the walls again. He'd do it. We own you, man. Do it.
It's
reference to Poltergeist.
It's
yeah.
Like, no, I'm not entertaining you.
Van Zieg's incarnated into a house.
Oh God, that is true. Van Zieg's is basically that house. Although I don't think he would have actually gone as far as to say, yeah, go kill yourselves with knives. I think it would have just been like, drink yourselves to death with my finest wine.
Van Zieg's got killed by a vampire hunter, and then he decided to do a Chucky and use voodoo to get into the house as a spirit. Now he haunts the place.
Oh God! Now, so apparently that's what happened after the Ace Attorney games. After he left the judicial system.
All right. So the next story Bart tells is a Kang and Kodos debut in this one, and
hungry are the damned.
And they actually abduct the Simpson family.
This is actually a parody of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yes, and Kang and Kodos are actually references to Star Trek characters.
Ah.
Yep. And you know what the funny part was? Like in the beginning where Homer put in like a crap ton of gasoline into the barbecue, dude.
Yes.
Like huge mushroom cloud from it.
Dude, that would fucking set the whole fucking like backyard on fire. Jesus.
No, the whole town on fire.
Exactly.
I mean, like a big mushroom cloud of flame via a huge ass amount of gasoline.
Dude, who fucking worries about fucking like baby showers caught in a fucking forest fire? Keep Homer away from the forest.
Like with a crap ton of, especially when he has that huge thing of gasoline for his barbecue grill.
Oh yeah.
And I also like the one where when they were trying to lift him up to the spaceship and they had to use an extra light because he's so fucking fat.
Big.
Yeah, so fucking big guy. Yeah, get it. Yeah, correct me on that. Me bad.
Yeah, they actually start feeding them like a gourmet of food, of their favorite food. Lisa, of course, is suspicious.
Yes, of course she
became a
does.
vegetarian, so she's eating a meat product.
Well, no,
yeah,
it's not that, because her favorite food is fried shrimp.
Yeah,
shrimp is technically food.
It's seafood. It's seafood, and there's like smothered pork chops, radish rosettes. Can somebody like show us how to make radish rosettes, please? I want to make it one day.
You might want to Google it.
Yeah, I will later on.
Lisa goes in the kitchen and sees that there's a cookbook called "How to Cook Humans." So she shows it to the family. And then it goes into
oh yeah, and there's that whole dust off between like either like Kang and Lisa.
That's not till the end.
I know. Yeah. I'm just saying. So we're getting close to that.
But then he takes some dust and he's like, "Oh, it says how to cook 4 humans." It's like, wait a minute. How to cook 40 humans. Wait, there's still more space dust on there. How to cook 40 humans.
Dum-dum.
He's like, they're fattening us up so they can eat us. And then the aliens are like, they thought we were going to eat them. Good God, is this some kind of joke? Well, why were you trying to make us eat all the time? Make you eat? We provided a scrumptious banquet, and frankly, you people made pigs of yourselves.
Bro.
By the way, James Earl Jones is in each one of these stores.
Mm-hmm. There were monsters on that ship. And truly we were them. Lisa, do you see what we mean when we say you're too smart for your own good? Way to go, Lisa. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Mm-hmm.
Like you guys prevented it. Watch your kid.
Well, then Lisa starts reading the actual Edgar Allan Poe story, The Raven.
Oh, which is my favorite part.
And James Earl Jones does the narration of it. So Darth Vader and Mufasa are basically giving like the whole thing.
It's beautiful.
And of course, Homer plays the main character. Lenore is played by Marge.
Call it Bill Beltry at this point.
Call Bill Beltry as the main character for like King of the Hills version of the Raven.
Yeah.
And Bart is the Raven.
Nevermore.
Of course.
At the end, Homer's like, "Why, you little?"
That's my favorite part. I would always repeat that on tape whenever I had it when I was a kid and a teen.
The Raven just throws books at him, and then Homer just sits there in the corner like, I can't get rid of this fucking bird.
This bird is eating into my soul.
Bart, at the end of the story, Bart's like, Lisa, that story wasn't scary at all. Well, you gotta remember, this was done in the 1800s. This was what was considered horror back then. Oh, you mean like watching those 1930s black and white horror movies that are just funny to watch because they're so bad? But they were funny back then because people didn't know any better.
Yeah, like when they were when they look at Friday the 13th Part 1, it's pretty tame by today's standards.
Oh God, like the 1938 movie The Invisible Man was considered the scariest movie of that time period. You watch it now, it is hilarious because it is so overacted. Like there was like the guy who plays the Invisible Man laughs like a maniacal Saturday morning cartoon villain. It is so funny. And then of course,
can we like watch that on the stream?
Oh, I think it's copyrighted by it's copyrighted by Universal.
Damn it.
It's copyrighted by Universal because they were going to have Johnny Depp play the Invisible Man in what they called the Dark Universe because they were going to make like an entire MCU of like monster movie characters. Because you know that Tom Cruise movie The Mummy? That was supposed to be that was supposed to be the original first movie into the Avengers of the of all like the monster movie stuff. And like
he fucked it up for everybody.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Russell Crowe was gonna be Jekyll and Hyde, and he was gonna have his own movie, and he was gonna be like
Bro.
he was gonna be the Samuel Jackson of the group.
Thanks, Tom. You fucked us over.
Well, it wasn't necessarily Tom's fault. It was the writing and the fact that it was also racist at the time too, because they didn't use the proper actors. But anyway, yeah. So, anyways, so that's the
No,
first
he
Treehouse
totally
of
took
Horror.
over that fucking shoot.
Well, I know because it's Tom Cruise, and he asked for a lot of money because it's Tom Cruise. But
Right.
I mean, he didn't have anything to do with the writing. All right. Anyway, next episode. Let me take a look at my notes. Oh, Dancing Homer. This one was like this one was Homer becomes like a mascot for the minor league baseball team because he starts dancing and everything. That's like all of a sudden like he dances and the team starts winning. So they pretty much like they unofficially hire him to be the dancing mascot for the team. And then they say, hey, why don't you go to Capital City and become like the dancing mascot for the major league team? And then nobody takes him seriously. The episode is like pretty forgetful. It didn't last very long. I mean, it did give way for the goofball mascot for the team, who Pom Pom dressed up as in one of the Homestar Halloween cartoons. So,
Oh yeah. Ah, good old Pom Pom.
who also dressed up as Fat Homer in one of the season 6 episode or season 7 episodes when he like gained 300 pounds and he had to wear a muumuu.
We need Poochie.
But yeah, very forgetful episode. Didn't really have a lot of good moments in there. This is like at the time when they really were trying to make Homer a likable character because, like I was saying before, they really wanted to push Bart as the main character of The Simpsons because they really wanted to beat Bill Cosby in his show. And they're like, well, Homer can't do that. Only Bart can do that. So the writers were like, no, we want to really develop Homer as a character here. And so, yeah, this was their attempt
Give him character development, for fuck's sake.
And they did. To be fair, they did. I mean, it was very memorable back in the day, but nowadays it's just like, yeah. All right, sorry, I had to pause the game. Next one. Bart the Daredevil, where he's trying to be Evil Knievel. Because he goes to see, Lance Murdoch, the guy who's a parody of Evil Knievel. Because they want to go see Truckosaurus.
Oh yeah, oh yes, the introduction of Truckosaurus, and at that same time in that episode, that Lisa had a recital.
And Homer's just like, we gotta go to the monster truck rally, and she's still in the middle of her solo.
Homer, you're something.
It's like Truckosaurus shows like they're trying to get parking, and Truckosaurus just eats their car. while they're inside of it. And he's like, well, Truckosaurus feels very bad about what happened. It's like, I can just imagine Truckosaurus being like, oh, that poor family, I can't believe I almost ate them. So, after Bart watches, like, Lance Murdoch get eaten alive by lions, sharks, one drop of human blood. By the way, he makes the jump, but then he makes the mistake of, like, landing, like posing on the edge of the thing, and he just falls into the water afterwards. Bart tries to do, like, the same tricks and ends up hurting himself. Goes to the hospital to get stitches. But then he's like, so he starts doing more jumps. And doing very successful jumps, but he's like, no, it's too easy. I need something hard. And so he looks at the Springfield Gorge. He's like, I'm going to jump this. And Lisa's like, no, you'll get killed.
She even took him to see Captain Lance Murdoch, too, about it.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, good for you, son. Now, a lot of people are going to say that you're an asshole, and they may be right. But the fact of the matter is, bones heal, chicks dig scars, and the Doctor to Daredevil ratio is the best ratio in the world. Oh, tell the nurse I'm ready for my sponge bath. Another French benefit. And so Homer tries to ground him by not going into it. And then he's like, hey, you could tell me not to do it, but there's no way you could watch me 24 hours a day. The minute your back is turned, I'm going to my skateboard and heading for that gorge. So he tries to get him
he
to...
does prove a point.
He tries to get Bart to pinky swear. It's like, please promise me you're not going to jump it. Okay, I promise. And then he just goes out and just goes to the gorge anyway. Homer follows him all the way to the gorge, stops him, and says, you know what? I'm going to jump this gorge myself. And then Bart's like, oh, no, don't do it, Dad. You're going to kill yourself. I won't do it. And then, of course, the most infamous moment in the entire show up to this point happens. Homer jumps the gorge and then immediately plummets to his not death, but in serious agony.
Breaking.
I mean, he made it halfway through though.
He made it halfway through, but then he ended up falling at that point.
I'm surprised he didn't die.
Then he did.
By cartoon logic.
Well, that was the whole joke. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if he actually survived, like, plummeting almost to the bottom of a gorge? I mean, hey, it was a running...
fat
it was
joke.
What?
And then... Yeah, and then, and that whole ordeal with he ends when the stretcher falls into it again.
Oh no, because the ambulance, they get him in the ambulance hits a tree, he falls out of the ambulance, and then the gurney just takes him all the way back down the gorge again.
Yeah. And you would probably wonder if it was Yoshikage Kira that were born into a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, I had to make a JoJo reference here.
Imagine that's one of Diavolo's deaths right there.
That
Fall into
too.
a gorge, you're hit by, or turned into a tree and hit by an ambulance.
Both.
Oh. Oh, right.
Remember, infinite deaths. Of course, he doesn't die in that. He just keeps falling down the gorge. Like, he ends up falling back into the gorge while he's in the hospital.
Anything can happen. It's infinite depths.
Like, there's even a point where they did like a behind the music episode of The Simpsons. Like, they did a parody of that show where it's called Behind the Laughter. And it's like, yeah, I thought it would be a good idea as an actor for me to do this. I thought it would really do well for my career. Right around here is when I realized something was going to go wrong. And they said that, well, it was so successful with me getting hurt that I decided to get hurt in almost every episode that I did. So I tried to come up with new ways to hurt myself. That's how I got addicted to pain pills.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, next episode. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track. Bart versus Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, this one, this is another one we had on the VHS, didn't we, Circus?
Probably. I can't remember. I just remember the Halloween episodes.
Well, the only reason why they made a Thanksgiving episode because the show used to air on Thursdays, back in prime time, and so they said, like, we really need a show. We really need to do an episode on Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, and this was the first time that they did that. So they just decided to come up with a Thanksgiving episode just because they needed an episode for that Thursday time slot. So, Lisa makes a centerpiece, which is really good, and Bart destroys it by throwing it into the fireplace, which, by the way, Homer's been trying to light but just can't seem to do it. But the centerpiece is the perfect wood to make it go aflame.
perfect kindling.
Yes.
Kindling?
Yes.
Yes.
Marge's mom makes her first appearance in here, but she has laryngitis, and she's like, "You never do."
God.
It's like, "You never do anything right." As somebody with laryngitis, I just want to say I'm sorry I came.
I wish I could say something comforting, but you know, my voice.
Let's go. I'm not missing Madlock.
Let's go. I'm not missing Madlock.
Okay. Okay, Harvester Man. Oh God, now I'm just trying to imagine. Welcome to the Quickie Mart. How may I help you?
Oh God damn it! Imagine Harvester took place in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Eat my shards.
Okay, that would be a Treehouse of Horror right here.
Don't have a cow, man. So Lisa goes crying up to her room because her centerpiece got ruined. Bart gets sent up to his room, but Marge before that says, "I hope you're happy, Bart. You ruined Thanksgiving."
Dang, he poisoned the turkey as well?
No. So Bart decides to run away with Santa's little helper by his side. So they go to a homeless, not a homeless shelter, but they go to like one of those places where they give like meals to homeless people. I forgot what they're called. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Homeless shelters?
No, they're not homeless
That's
shelters.
A soup kitchen.
It's a soup kitchen, yes.
Soup kitchen. And there's, I mean, before that, Bart just went to donate blood.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, 2 milkies and a cookie. What a country!" And then passes out. And then 2 homeless guys are like, "Oh my God, are you okay, kid? We got to get you some food." And I'm like,
it's like
wow.
and it's like, yeah, and then before Santa's little helper ate that cookie.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, these homeless guys are like, wow, this kid that's doing a lot better than us needs food. Let's get him somewhere quick. And so they go there, and they just happen to have like a, Ken Brockman there, the news guy, and the whole family's watching Bart. The whole family's watching Bart at the guys. He's like, "Ha ha! I didn't apologize."
Hello, operator. Give me the number for 911.
Yes. Bart decides whether he should go back in through the front door or not, but then he starts having a dream sequence where it's like, I was like, "I'm sorry, Lisa. No, that won't do at all. Yeah, boy, get down on your knees and beg for forgiveness."
Beg for forgiveness. Oh yeah, I remember that too.
It's like, yeah, beg me, Bart, beg me. He's like, "Lisa, I beg of you, please forgive me." And then they're like, "Oh, we could start blaming Bart for everything." It's like, it's your fault I'm bald. It's your fault I'm old. It's your fault I can't talk.
It's your fault America has lost its way.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, "I'm
It's
sorry.
your fault I can't open the pickle jar."
It's your fault that we're divorcing.
Dad, hey, it's like, way to, at least in that dream sequence, like, way to start putting in the kid's thoughts from, way to abuse somebody, damn.
It's like, it's your fault that Lenore left Bill.
It's your fault that Hank can't get it up anymore.
It's your fault that the Velma show became such a disappointment in the show.
It's your fault Beavis and Butthead got kicked off TV.
I mean, that's...
It's your fault that it's your fault that Big Brother became such a successful show, even though it's a terrible reality show.
It's your fault Elon Musk was able to obtain Twitter.
It's your fault Elon Musk is rich.
It's your fault that Elon Musk even exists.
Boy, we are just like we're just talking.
Well, what the fuck you want Bart to do? Go back in time and say, "Hey, you don't know who I am, but use this condom now." Alright, cool. You saved the world.
We have firsthand.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Just don't delete our Twitter accounts, there, sir. We're just—it's satire.
It's your fault that Circus has 50 Chippendales in her basement.
No, that's 100 Chippendales. We went to go kidnap 4.
Oh. You didn't just leave me out of it.
Oh, there's some for you too.
Hey, I don't want to run the risk of having an STD, thank you.
Oh, they're all clean. I make sure they get their shots and all that bull.
Hope you have the money for it.
Oh, trust me. I get my money from Clyde cash.
It's your fault that Chris Chan even exists.
That's what I fucking said.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what they would say.
It's your fault that Barb met Robert. Enough.
Okay, enough with the jokes, guys.
Alright.
It's getting old really quick.
You're the reason why Homer's bald.
Well, they actually said that in the show.
Yeah, how many...
So what was it? Bart decides to go sit up on the roof because he doesn't want to go back in the house. But Lisa starts blaming herself in her diary that Bart ran away. And so she's crying because she misses him. And then,
Lisa, don't miss your brother until he's actually gone.
Well, no, Bart basically tells her that he's on the roof. And so Lisa's like, Bart, what are you doing up here? Everybody's worried. Really? Did they cry? Yes. Haha, jackpot. And then Lisa's like, you should apologize for what you did. Why should I? It's like, listen, Bart, there's every point in somebody's life when you find a spot inside of yourself, something that you wish wasn't there, is you feel like you hurt your sister's feelings. That's what you should apologize. And he's like, okay, da-da-da-da-da, I'm looking for the spot, da-da-da, still checking. And so he finally verbalizes everything. It's like, just because I wrecked something she really worked on and I made her cry. And then he's like, oh, found the spot.
Yep.
And
you
so
love your sister.
Yeah, it's like, you love your sister. Oh god, it's like that one Fresh Prince episode where Carlton is just like, face it, Will, you love me.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Of course he loves you. Or else he wouldn't put up with your shit.
Well, we'll talk about Fresh Prince at another time. But yeah, so that's that episode. Let me pause so that I can go to the next one. Dead Putting Society. This is where Flanders really gets like his first episode. And this is where
How does he do, y'all?
Then this is also and like this is like where Homer starts getting jealous of like everything that Flanders has. Like, there's one moment he's like, okay, Flanders, knock it off. Knock what off, Homer? You've been ragging my tail ever since I got here. Your family is better than my family. Your beer comes from farther away than my beer. You and your son like each other. Your wife's butt is higher than my wife's butt.
Jealous, Homer?
Way to go that far.
Flanders gets so mad that he kicks Homer out of the house. And then like Homer's like, our family stinks because Flanders lives next to us. And then he gets offended when Marge tries to say, it's like, I've never seen him be nothing but a perfect neighbor. Oh, he's perfect now, is he? No, he's not perfect.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
And so he actually has to take a walk outside. He's like, I'm sorry, I have to take a walk because I'm not perfect, like Ned Flanders.
Oof. Talk about petty.
And then Flanders is like, can't sleep because he's like, oh my God, I can't believe how angry I got at him. I mean, all he was doing was airing his frustrations, and I just turned into a beast. I'm a monster. And so he calls the Reverend late at night to try to get some advice. And he's like, what should I do, Reverend? Flanders, do you know the other religions? They're all pretty much the same.
Isn't this the one where we get introduced to Reverend Lovejoy?
No, because he appeared in season 1 in the Telltale Head.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I do feel sorry for Reverend Lovejoy. He always has to put up with Flanders shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Diane Flanders. So,
oh, there's Flanders on the phone for the 50th time today. What shall I do, honey?
So Flanders decides to write Homer a letter about how much he loves him as a brother.
Uh-oh.
Of course, Homer reads this in front of the family, and they start making fun of it. He's like, dear neighbor, you are my brother. I love you. and yet I feel a great sadness in my bosom.
Oh my God.
Bro.
And Marge is like, I think that's terrible. A man opens his heart and you make fun of him. Meanwhile, goes in the kitchen and starts cracking a smile.
Hey, who could blame ya?
So Bart and Homer decide, like, well, after that joke, let's go mini golfing. And then it turns out that Flanders and Todd are there, and then there's like a mini golf tournament that's going on that Todd's gonna go compete in, and so Homer decides, well, Bart's gonna compete in it too, and he's gonna kick your son's ass. And Bart's like, but Dad, I've never won anything in my entire life.
Oy.
And he's like,
Listen to the boy, Homer.
It's like, son, I'm going to give you some very good advice. It is not okay to lose.
Jesus, Homer. He's just a kid.
Even going to the point where he decides to name Bart's putter. It's like, your putter's name is Charlene. It's like, now this is a picture of your enemy, Todd Flanders. Every day, I want you to spend 15 minutes staring at him and concentrating on how much you hate him and how glorious it will be when you and Charlene annihilate him.
Okay, that sounds... I can already hear the crickets chirping right about now. They're trying to think.
And Bart can't get himself to do it because, like, I don't really hate Todd.
Right.
And then Marge is like, Homer, why are you warping Bart? Because this is our chance to show off the Flanders is. Look, Marge, sometimes it feels good to make other people feel bad. And I'm tired of making people feel good about themselves.
That's when did he make people feel good about themselves?
Well, because he always makes himself look bad. So it's like, well, they're making themselves feel better just by making me feel bad. It's like, this is revenge on my point. So Bart starts to realize that he's a pawn in a twisted chess game that Homer's playing. So Lisa's like, you know what? I think I can help you, and starts teaching him how to play mini golf by, first of all, reading doing some doing some meditation, and then like answering some rhetorical questions like, what's the sound of one hand clapping? If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound? And then once Bart realizes the significance of it, he actually gets better at it. And then And Bart's getting really good at it to a point where Homer's like, "Oh, my son is gonna wipe the floor with your son's ugly butt, Flanders." It's like, well, may the best man win, Homer. Oh yeah, sure, may the best man win. The mating call of the loser.
Jesus, Homer.
It's like, hang on a second, Simpson. I think my son is gonna do pretty good. Oh yeah, you want to bet? Oh well, I'm not a betting man. Oh, I'm a chicken, am I? That's right. Okay, how about this? How about this bet? A batch of your wife's blueberry muffins against one of my wife's homemade wind chimes. What? Are you afraid to make a real bet? I was like, no.
Oh, Lord.
It's like, no, I'm just...
Craig, quit egging him on.
It's, Simpson, you're starting to annoy me. It's like, well, how about this, Henny Penny? If Bart wins tomorrow, you have to mow my lawn. All right. And if Todd wins, you have to mow my lawn. And do a decent job of it for a change. Better yet, you have to mow my lawn in your wife's Sunday dress.
Oh. I mean, this is getting awkward right now.
And then they sign a contract saying, like, the father of the boy who doesn't win has to mow the lawn in his wife's Sunday dress. And so it's the day of the tournament, and Homer's trying to be like, oh, today's the day of the big tournament, and you better win. Even Lisa's trying to tell him, like, Mom, don't feed him steak. Steak will make him logy. Feed him oatmeal. Is like, Lisa, Bart is not a horse. It's like, hey, Flanders, there's no use praying. I already tried the same thing and we can't both win. It's like, actually, Simpson, we were praying that no one gets hurt. Oh, well, Flanders, it doesn't matter. This time tomorrow, you'll be wearing high heels.
That guy grinds my gears.
He's like, no, you will. Fray not, frayed so, fray not, frayed so, fray not infinity. Frayed so infinity +1. Don't!
This could go on at 6 hours later.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, yes.
It gets down to the 18th hole. They're both tied, Bart and Todd. And they both decide to quit. And
Good on them.
So Homer and Bart and Flanders now have to both dress up in their wives' dresses and mow the lawn.
Yeah.
And Lisa's
That's what you get for betting.
Lisa's like, why do I get the feeling that years later I'll be describing this to a psychiatrist? And Flater says, Homer, I thought this was going to suck, but hey, reminds me of my good old fraternity days. Oh my God, he's enjoying it. And that's how the episode ends. They just mow the lawn in their dresses, which, by the way, men should be doing a lot more of. Like, you want to get a couple of
You're an advocate. You're always an advocate for that, Joe.
But
yes.
While mowing the lawn?
Well, not mowing the lawn necessarily. Although that would be something. But no, it's my purpose in life to get a bunch of cisgender straight guys and say, hey, let's all wear dresses. Let's just go on the night of the town and just start wearing dresses. Like, I'll be the first to do it.
Or basically just say, fuck it, let's start it. Let's just start this. So you'll experience what it's like to be a woman better, or some shit.
It will get rid of that. It'll also get rid of that disgruntledness that you can't express yourself the way you want to. Because as we all know,
toxic
because toxic
masculinity shit.
Yeah, because a lot of that makes men think like they can't express themselves, they can't cry, they can't do any of that shit because then all their friends will leave them, and then they realize, and then they're like, well, I can't show emotion because then no girl will ever suck my dick, and so that's why they have to be. That's why in their minds they have to be manly men.
Because we live in a society.
Oh, not, and it's not just that. It's also because they watch all these reality shows of like hot guys with six-pack abs, and they're like, well, they're all men and they don't have emotions, and all the girls are attracted to them. So why should I do the same thing?
Again, we live in a society.
Like, why do I have to subject myself to this when these guys on reality TV don't have to? Anyway. Moving on to the next episode. Oh, this is the Itchy and Scratchy and Marge episode. This is the episode where Marge tries to get like Itchy and Scratchy banned on. Tries to cancel Itchy and Scratchy because it's too violent. After Maggie
Not to mention, yeah. Oh, that's why we were on the same thing, Joe. Where Maggie hits Homer in the head with a mallet. Because she saw an episode.
Yes, which is also a Psycho reference.
Yes. That theme of Psycho happens a lot in this episode.
Like, even to the point where, like, the Itchy and Scratchy cartoon company start drawing Marge as a squirrel. And Itchy and Scratchy both, like, lop the squirrel's head off.
And baseball.
It's
and
like,
they shake hands at the end.
It's like, ha ha, take that, you dumb squirrel. Ha ha ha. Like, they even have to go. They even like do like one of those like sit down talk shows with Kent Brockman to discuss the matter. Like, they bring on the creator of Itchy and Scratchy. They bring on Marge. It's like, it's a bad influence on the kids. And they actually got the guy who plays Roger Myers Jr. They got one of the guys from The Godfather to do his voice. That's like, well, we respect him so much as an actor. We thought he would be great in this role. Oh, and Dr. Monroe makes an appearance in this episode, Circus. So, he's like, when it's like,
all I want to do is my George Carlin bit. Fuck the children!
It's like, sometimes...
literally.
Yeah, no.
No.
One of the things he says is like, yeah, there's nights where I just like to snuggle up with a big bucket of popcorn and just watch a couple of Itchy Scratchy cartoons. And what the hell is wrong with that?
Not a thing.
Exactly.
And so, like, Marge requests all of the people of Springfield to send the animation studio angry letters. And he's like, I don't believe this. I will never watch your show, buy any of your products, or break if I ever see you crossing the street.
Crossing the street.
I was like, well, you want to advocate against violent cartoons, and here you are saying that you're gonna run over this guy if you see him on the street. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Holy irony. The irony here.
This is projection also. And so finally they're like, well, we can't go against this angry mob, so let's just make happy Itchy and Scratchy cartoons. It's like lemonade,
which everybody gets completely bored of.
It's like, lemonade, please. You're my best friend.
Oh God.
So all the kids start going outside and playing.
And saying it's like a golden age and all that stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my God, the kids are actually behaving better because they're going outside. By the way, that's supposed to be a satire of like parents thinking like, well, if kids went outside more, they'd actually be better behaved. And they go in front of the TV and they would just be like evil sleaze buckets. I was like, no, I think TV taught us a lot of great lessons. I mean,
says the people who fall for the email scams.
Yes. These are the people that will buy these are the type of people that believe that they join a health club and they're not being a part of a cult. when they do like one of those cycle bike things. Like, you know those like those cycle bar places where it's like, "Hey, I'm the instructor and I'm going to have all of you do this cycle thing. You're doing great out there." By the way, I went to one of those things, and oh my god, it is probably one of the worst experiences I ever had. Because I'm like, you people do that? Like, how many of you guys do this? I was like, oh, we come here every day before we go to work. I'm like, every day? Like, and all you do is just bike for 30 minutes on these little, like, stationary bikes, and all you do is just hear terrible music, and you have to listen to this guy with, like, that obviously looks like he just took performance-enhancing drugs. Like, you're obviously just letting him in, like, to give you, like, positive reinforcement. It's like, yeah, this is what gets me up in the morning. It's like, this is a cult. This is an absolute cult. Because you're buying all the products of the store. You can actually
ride a real bike and get the same endorphins.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of these are also married wives who feel like they're just marrying their husbands because they got money, and they just want to look at the hot guy who obviously took performance-enhancing drugs. And by the way, they're also spending a lot of money on the membership.
I was gonna say, at least it's not as bad as, like, the moms out there who are like, oh, I'm gonna do push-ups while drinking wine because I'm so quirky. Oh my gosh, alcoholism is so cute and quirky.
Anyway, don't try this at home, people. Never operate heavy machinery or run exercising equipment while plaster on your ass.
Yeah, we don't recommend it.
So anyway,
why does it sound like you're talking faster? Like
I don't know.
No,
not you, Circus.
I have no idea.
Oh,
I think it's just probably I think it's just because of the connection.
Probably.
Anyway. So Michelangelo's David is gonna be like a thing at the Springfield Museum, and everyone's like, "Marge, you gotta get dressed. We gotta protest this naked man being shown in our museum." He's like, "But that statue is amazing." It's like, how can you think that this is good art? This is a naked man. Like, obviously, this is gonna destroy. This is gonna be a destroy of American society. It's like, no, it's a piece of art.
I mean, the only good thing that Marge can say, really, in this.
By the way, I found out that, like, the reason why is I was playing like a trivia game at work, and one of the questions was. And one of my coworkers actually had to get permission from my boss as to, was like, is it okay if I actually read this question out loud? And she said, yeah. And she said, and so one of my coworkers read the question, is like, why is it that a lot of, like, old Greek statues had their were sculpted with small penises? And it turns out that back in ancient Greek times, like, small penises were considered a status symbol.
Yeah, it was
something
something about large ones being seen as, like, uncivilized.
So that's why they're flaccid?
What?
It just said status symbol. They didn't mean if it was. I'm not sure if they meant it was because they had a small dick. It was because they were actually, like, pure in nature, and those with bigger ones were considered to be products of the devil. I'm not totally sure. I have not looked it up. But we just thought that it was hilarious.
Well.
I swear I read something like that before, and I can't remember where. I think it was Tumblr, where they sourced it.
I don't know. It would have to be a history lesson somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they bring Marge back on the talk show to talk about it. He's like, I think everybody in Springfield should see it. And then Dr. Monroe comes on, Circus's favorite character. Is like, how is it that you have no problem? How is it that you have no problem with this naked man being presented in a museum, but you have a problem with violent cartoons like Itchy and Scratchy? Like, do you not see the hypocrisy? Like, do you not see the hypocrisy in that? It's like, I guess you're right. So all the kids go back to watching violent cartoons, and nobody goes to see the naked man.
Except Homer and Marge.
And then Homer's like, hey, the kids are going to see this anyway. Why? They're forcing them. All right, next one. Oh, God. This is like episode 10. We still got 14 to go. I don't know if we're going to finish it.
Just make this a part 1, and then we do part 2 next time.
Yeah, because we still got to talk about Velma, because we promised that we'd talk about Velma. Like the new show. So we'll do this episode, and then we'll talk Velma. How about that?
Yeah.
So Bart gets hit by a car. The debut of Phil Hartman on the show.
May rest in peace.
Yeah, who got killed by his wife with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
In his own bed, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, because this was the debut of Lionel Hutz. Because Bart gets hit by a car, obviously, because that's the name of the episode. And then he goes to hell. Well, first of all, he goes to heaven. And it's like, please, do not put your hand on the guardrail. Do not spit over the side. Which he does both things. And then so the escalator sends him all the way down to hell. And the devil is like, oh, you're not supposed to be here until the New York Yankees win the World Series. Which, by the way, happened in 1996, I believe. So...
Uh-oh. Rest in peace, Bart.
Bart was supposed to die when he was 16, but he didn't. And it's like, hey, am I gonna make it to heaven? Yeah, but you won't like it. Remember, Bart, lie, cheat, steal, and listen to heavy metal music. So, Bart wakes up, and it's like, oh my god, I was in hell, and you were there, and you I've never seen before. And it's Lionel Hutz. It's like, hey, I'm here to help you if you ever decide to sue Mr. Burns. And so, like, Burns is like, here, Homer, I'm gonna give you a small sample of, I'm only gonna give you like $1,000, I believe, is what Burns was willing to give Homer. And it's like, oh, okay, you don't want to accept it because you want to pay his bills? No deal.
Is it because of this? Is it like for a settlement that they're trying to do?
Yeah, like Burns doesn't want to pay the full settlement because he's a billionaire. He's like, I got the finest lawyers in Springfield, Homer. You try to mess with me and I'll crush you like a paper cup, which he can't even do.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to see Lionel Hutz.
It might have been a plastic cup then.
Or as I call him, Bad Phoenix Wright. So Lionel convinces Homer that they can make it so that Burns has to pay $1 million in damages. So they make up all this phony shit about what happened to Bart. Like, oh, he broke his bone in every different place. Like,
yes.
they even make him come up with like a bold story about like, oh, I didn't think I was gonna live and I had to do it and I was on the ground and I thought I was gonna die, and the jury instantly believes him. And then Burns tells his story and it's like, oh my god, I ran over this poor boy, quick kid, help Smithers, like kisses Bart on the forehead. It's like, damn you, devil. And the jury and Smithers just look at him like, what the fuck, dude? It's like, what? You believed his cotton balls story? And then so Burns is like, okay, we're gonna settle at my house. So they bring they bring Homer in, and it's like, listen, I'll give you $500,000. And Homer's like, no, I want the full million. And Marge is like, Homer, this whole obsession with getting $1 million is destroying our family, and we've been using phony doctors. Meanwhile, Burns is looking through the eyeballs in the painting.
Why wouldn't he?
And then he's like,
Come
well,
on.
I got my defense. I don't need anything else. So, Burns' lawyers decide to call Marge to the stand. And of course, Marge can't lie because she's like, I just can't lie to people. So she tells the whole truth about what happened. And then Burns decides, like, I'm going to write a figure on this piece of paper. It's not as big as the first one I offered you, but them's the breaks. It's just a big fat 0.
Of course.
And then Homer just looks at Marge with, like, I can't believe my own wife just betrayed me. It's like, my wife just cost me $1 million. Do you want more mashed potatoes? No, I don't want mashed potatoes anymore, you fucking asshole. Like, he goes to Moe's bar, and Marge follows him. He's like, Homer, please forgive me for doing the right thing. It's like, Marge, it's not about the money. It's not about Bart. It's not about the court case. It's about you weren't on my side at the time. You weren't there to support me when I needed you. Even if it was a lie. The whole point was to beat Burns, even if it meant that we had to lie through our teeth. You blew my one big chance to kick my own boss in the ass. It's like, Homer.
Lord.
It's like, Homer, what are you saying? I'm saying that I don't love you, Marge, anymore.
Oh.
And he's like, don't worry, it won't be so bad. We could still have sex, but it just won't be as emotional anymore. And then Marge is like, oh, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait to find out whether you don't love me or not. Just look me in the goddamn eyes and find out right now. And then it's like Homer just finally looks at her. It's like, oh, I was just kidding. I didn't mean any of that shit. Moe's just like, drinks on the house, everybody. I don't give a fuck.
Good old Mo.
And that's the end of that episode.
Now we can get to Velma.
No, Velma. Selma is actually a Martin Luther King biopic movie, which if you have not seen, it's really good. And considering
I said Velma.
I heard Selma. I heard an S. Anyway, well, we could talk about Velma and what people have been saying online. I have not seen it, so.
Me neither.
All I know is
people are saying it's like a big shit show, probably.
Oh, from what I understand from what people have said on Twitter, like, yeah, it is pretty much like like somebody was saying, it's almost like if you had like a whole bunch of white right wingers like trying to write a show about like diverse characters. It's just
America.
Because it's like, well, this is what real diversity looks like. Because we know exactly how to write it. And as Sylph was saying, like, before we went on the air, it's like, yeah, one of the writers or one of the producers is actually a TERF. It's like, oh, great. So you know where they're coming from. And of course it's HBO, so obviously they own the rights to Scooby-Doo. So they're just going to make the show because, like, it's convenient for them to do so. It's like, oh, hey, people know Velma. People know this character. Let's make an entire show on it.
Jeez.
Yeah, but that's all. Yeah, but that's all I know of it so far. It actually was on my my watch list because it was recommended before the ratings of it came out and before the trailer came out. And I do have an HBO Max account, so I can take a look at it. Yes, you are muted, Sylph. We can't hear you.
Ah, damn it.
I guess Sylph has been trying to say something, and we haven't been hearing them.
Yeah, Discord does that a lot with me, so you might want to come in and come back out. Go out and come back in.
Phrasing.
Well, excuse me, I'm a little bit tired.
I think you've been watching too much of that.
Okay,
there you
finally.
go.
What have I been watching, Joey?
Well, you know that show you were talking about.
I've been trying to talk for 5 minutes.
Go ahead. Go.
I was gonna say once again, it's one of those shows where the person's like, oh, I don't have an imagination. I don't want to create anything original. So I'm going to take something that people like, and I'm going to put all of the edgy bullshit I can think of. Oh, we're going to make Angelica a crack baby. Isn't that wonderful for the new reboot? That's just the same level of dumb shit that they put into Velma, except it's even worse than that. And it's not even worth, like, watching... Like, if you don't have to, like, if you have, like, the subscription, it's not even worth pirating. Like, I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather shove my hand into a blender. There's so many more fun things to do than watch Velma. Like, it's not even worth hate watching. Like, these assholes don't even know what the fucking quadratic equation is, but Peppa fucking Pig got it right. Mm-hmm. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Like,
And Peppa Pig is considered a very popular show amongst adults. Like, more adults watch that than kids do. I'm like, what the hell?
Usually it's for the memes, Joe.
I know that.
For the memes.
I know that. There's a Peppa the Pig episode where they went to Italy, and I'm like, oh my god, don't tell them about pig's cheeks. They eat that like it's a delicacy there.
That's funny.
Like, I mean, these Italians eat pig pork belly, for crying out loud.
What's pork belly?
Pancetta. Pancetta is pork belly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Now you're making me hungry.
Sorry.
Here's another bad. Hold on, I'm looking at some of the comments here. Okay. The biggest cop out is making Fred a whiny loser who can't function independently just so Velma can seem more fitting as a protagonist. It's like that old rule that you shouldn't have to make Watson stupid to make Sherlock smart.
Hell, they even did it right in Pup Named Scooby-Doo, and that was a fucking awful 80s cartoon.
I know.
People will say the Scooby-Doo WWE thing was a lot better than Velma. That's what just saying something, because that was terrible. Because it was like, yeah, let's put John Cena and Scooby-Doo together. And people thought that was a good idea.
What kind of pot were they smoking when they thought about that?
They were just looking at the dollar. You know what they were smoking? They were smoking dollar bills, because that's what rich people like to do back in those like political cartoons in the newspapers. They would just smoke dollar bills with cigars.
From the mint. Come on.
Yeah, they would just get their things from the mint. Like, that was always the joke. Like, didn't they also make Shaggy like a Kevin, from what I understand?
No, don't compare him to a Kevin. That is blasphemy. That is blasphemous.
Like apparently in the show they turned Shaggy into an incel. That's trying to get Velma's attention, I believe, or just trying to get any woman's attention. And they try to paint him as like, I think they try to paint him as like a remorseful character, but he just comes off looking like a dick. Because you know, when incels write things, they always try to paint themselves in a very positive light, and they never do a good job of it.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine if there was a horror movie that was written by incels, and they were just like, "Oh my god, the feminists are out to get us," and like they're all zombies now. Like that would be, that would be their movie.
It's like, god damn it! It's like one of those bad Jehovah's Witness films where they had like them locked up in a bunker or some shit.
Yes, exactly. It's like God's Not Dead 5.
Please not. Oh, please. No, please. That's not going that territory.
This time, it's personal. Jesus made it so.
Here comes Jesus with fucking looking like Rambo.
Well, no, they actually, like, the Christian company that made God's Not Dead, they did do a Mad Max Christian version. And from what people said...
Oh, no.
And for, like, because Armageddon happens, and, the end times are coming, and and it just turns into a Mad Max universe. And from what people have said, like, it's cheesy as hell, but it's actually, it's not bad in the sense, like, oh, hey, a lot of these people, like, a lot of the writing is this, like, cheesy, but it's like, no, the action is pretty good for a Christian movie.
Oh, okay, they fucked up another thing, too. The volume of a cone. You can't have a volume with only 2 dimensions.
Oh, they broke one of the rules of animating?
What? No, they fucked up the math stuff. I know it's just a little thing, but I just thought it was even more that they messed up.
So they didn't do their research. I found the
synopsis for this. Want me to read it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is someone summarizing it. At Crystal Cove High School, Daphne, voiced by Constance Wu, is a popular mean girl orphan who deals drugs because of a dark family secret. Her boyfriend, Fred, and then Glenn Howerton, personifies mediocre white richness. Daphne was the rich one. His mansion holds a dark secret. Do we really have to fucking read this?
Go ahead.
And he has
you volunteered.
Privates. And he
yeah.
A subject of much conversation. Shaggy has become Norville, parentheses Sam Richardson, a school newspaper striver friendship zoned by his beloved Velma. He worries he's a beta male. Semicolon, remember that lame humor concept from 20 years ago.
It's like, oh, I'm a beta. I need to become an alpha, otherwise girls won't like me.
Oh, even worse, though. Daphne's 15 and is shown naked in the first scene.
Oh my god.
God.
And this show was created by Mindy Kaling, if I understand correctly.
She's one of the showrunners.
Yeah, and I believe
one of them.
Yeah, she's been grifting a lot to the right recently. So because she
showed support for J.K. Rowling. Do we need to say more?
No, we don't. She was also in that Ocean's 8 movie. I don't know if anybody remembered when that came out. But it was basically Ocean's 8 was just like Ocean's 11, but it had all women in it. And the movie did horribly because the story was really badly written. But Mindy Kaling came out and said like the only reason people hated the movie was because there were women in it.
The Ghostbuster fucking excuse.
Well, at least with the Ghostbusters movie, it was actually like entertaining and fun to watch. Like this one was considered to be like the Ocean's 8 was considered to be boring as hell. None of the characters were really developed. There was nothing, even though it had like a great cast. And by the way, there was another movie that came out like a year afterwards that starred J-Lo and Cardi B that was like basically strippers doing Ocean's 11 shit. And that got like critical acclaim. Like everyone said that was awesome to watch. And that starred all women in it. So it's like that her logic, Mindy Kaling's logic, didn't work. It's like, well, how is it that a year later J-Lo and Cardi B can make a better movie than you did? And it's basically the same material.
So basically, I'd rather watch the fucking porn parody than this shit, right? This whole freaking show. At least I get to see 2 females fucking.
Heck, even the live action ones weren't this shit.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Twitter threads. I'm in the middle of a boss battle in DKC 3, so I can't read it.
Twitter comments, you mean YouTube?
Well, no, the comments on that were posted on our Discord.
Oh.
I'm fighting a giant snowman right now.
Basically, one says, all I'm saying is Scooby-Doo is ultimately about friendship and teamwork, and effectively making them mean and not liking each other is changing the core of the show and their characters. Thank you and good night. Another person said, if you have a Scooby-Doo fan in your life, please be supportive of them as they watch their franchise turn into a cheap robot chicken type laugh, while this stuff that would have kicked ass is canceled for tax reasons. And they go on to say, huh?
I just want to say I feel like Robot Chicken wouldn't have been that bad. Plus there was a parody that they did where it had the most fucking hell, Elliot, where it had the most badass line ever. It was like, God might forgive you, but I won't, and Scooby drowned someone in a hot tub.
Mm-hmm. Want me to go on with the next one?
Go ahead.
Oh God, I remember the meme where it had someone's hands with a gun, says, "God may forgive you, but I won't."
All right. What gets me is that Fred has literally never even been the rich one. That's always been Daphne. Like, Fred hasn't been poor, but he's not a rich guy. He's just a big deal with a sweater and an ascot. He was a prep with hints of football star and theater kid, not the rich douchebag. Like, yeah, he was written to be nostalgic in the one series, but that was dropped. Where are they getting the Manticore rich kid from? And here's the thing, like, Daphne wasn't even written as the rich kid until, like, a pup named Scooby-Doo, I think.
I don't know. I don't know all these shows.
Yeah, like, that's the only time I remember her being fucking made as the rich kid, because she had a butler and all that bullshit in that one.
I don't know. I'll have to take your word for it.
Because I never remember.
A pup named Scooby-Doo. It was cute for what it was.
Red Heron. Anything you left to say?
No, not on that. I'm sure more's gonna come out. I'm sure Mindy Calling is gonna, talk about how well the ratings have been good for it, and we're gonna get a second season because the HBO likes it. So I'm sure she's gonna go off and say something like that. So
if it's already getting backlash, I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, you know how they say controversy creates cash, so they're gonna keep doing it because it's HBO.
This is the same HBO that has eradicated a lot of their library already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're merging with Warner Bros., right? Or Discovery?
Well, it's Discovery.
They're merging with somebody.
It's
Discovery. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just bought Turner Broadcasting as well. So they're trying to get more stuff for Discovery Plus.
Oh, that'd be fun for me to watch.
What the?
Okay, I love you too, honey.
I have a Discovery Plus account, but I get it mainly for the ghost shows.
Oh, the ghost hunting shows.
Yeah, it's a good watch for Halloween.
Well, just don't make sure that if Irate Gamer ever comes out with any ghost shows, make sure you don't watch his.
I don't know. I think that would be entertaining a bit.
Well, I mean, have you seen any of his from way back then?
I've seen documentaries. That's about it.
Because his weren't any good. They just spent an entire 30 minutes, but is someone here, and nothing happens. They don't even They don't even see anything in there. It's just like, well, we're in this abandoned tower. Well, we didn't find anything, and that's the 30 minutes.
Dude, don't get me started on Ghost Hunters.
Okay, I won't.
No, I just have a problem with them going into a place and like evoking spirits instead of helping them out and crossing over and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's not like that one Casper movie where the guy was trying to do that.
Yeah. No, they just want proof for their silly TV show.
Yeah,
but I'll watch it anyways.
And then Casper falls in love with a girl that's like 100 years younger than he is.
Can I keep you? Which is the creepiest fucking line out of the whole damn movie.
Like, it's like, well, we need a love interest for Casper. It's like, do we really?
Jeez, he's 12 years old and dead. Come on.
And she's 6. Well, technically, he's 112. He just embodies the spirit of a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah. And I
like,
think Cat was 15.
Yeah, and he's got the hots for a 15-year-old girl who's got no chance with.
I don't know. Fucking Darth Vader got with his wife, and he's younger than her.
Well, yeah, I can't even remember how much Padme and Anakin were, like, apart. But
I think, like, in the Weird Al song, he said he was, like, 9 and she was 14 when they met.
Okay, well, so, like, that's a 14-9. That's a 5-year difference.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck?
But at least they wait.
Weird timing number.
Oh, well, they waited till episode 2 where they got married when they were, like, already, like, adults at that point.
Elliot muted me,
Oh,
so
God.
I couldn't tell my joke.
Oh, God. I'm surprised they didn't go with that storyline in the original Casper movie. It's like, hey, Cat, you want to be dead and just be with me forever?
Endeavor.
What gets me is they couldn't take the fucking elixir to a damn scientist to figure out how to bring both of them back.
Well, no, they had
Elliot,
that. In the movie, they had that fucking machine where it could bring, like, ghosts back to life.
Yeah, but they couldn't fucking take the elixir to a scientist so the scientist could figure out what the father did? Or was there a recipe sitting around, too?
Yeah, the recipe was sitting there for 100 years, and they only had enough to resurrect one person, which Casper was going to do.
I'm just about to make more. Just to make more, that's all I'm saying, so Casper can finally fucking grow up.
Well, the only reason why the dad made it was so he could bring his son back to life. It was like, well, this is the only one I want to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else go fuck themselves.
Even though there was like 2 used elixir bottles, which it probably was failed.
And then Casper was going to use it, and then they realized Cad's dad died. And it's like, well, we got to use this on your dad, because you need your dad more than you need me.
All this Halloween party is going on downstairs, and nobody fucking noticed everything.
Yeah, no. And then the mom is an angel, and then the mom's like, oh, Casper, you did the right thing. You became a real boy. So now I'm going to let you be a real boy for, like, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or technically 15 minutes so that you could dance with my daughter, who she doesn't even know who you are. She just randomly dances with this random guy.
I love how he argues, oh, so I'm going to wait till midnight? No, till 10. He's like, come on, Cinderella got to midnight. Well, Cinderella was 12 years old. Well,
it's like, okay. Fuck you, Mom.
Now she had to go see the husband.
And no, but at first I'm like, oh my god, why are we floating in the air while we're dancing? Something's gone wrong. Am I hallucinating here?
Can I keep you? Oh my god, Casper!
Yeah,
I do admit,
I love the...
I do admit, I love the fucking Casper friendly ghost, like, Little Richard song.
Oh, at
his
the end of
version
the
of it.
movie. Or you mean at the end of the movie?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, little Richard.
That guy. What can I say?
I will always remember the Geico commercial that he was in.
Oh Lord.
It was great. It was like every Thanksgiving now, like every time, like it's the day happens. Like my friend Bondo and I will always quote that commercial when dinner happens.
I need to go watch it because I can't remember it.
Oh, I will find that clip afterwards and I will share it because.
All right.
I say the quote every Thanksgiving to my friend, and that's how we say Happy Thanksgiving to each other.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember is Hump Day from those stupid Geico commercials.
Which, by the way, is one of the worst ideas to talk about going into the middle of the week. Like, do we really need to know that? Like they're just days in a week.
My ex-boyfriend used to fucking, like, say that stupid thing to me all the time. It's Hump Day. I'm like, shut up.
That's like, no, we're not. It's like, no, honey, we're not having sex. Don't even think about it.
How the fuck can people compare having Wednesday? It's like going over the hump. You guys are not gonna be fucking every Wednesday.
Like,
Mom, what day was I conceived on? Ask your dad. Hump Day.
Like, Goofy has more of a chance to get with the milkman than we do on Wednesday. So don't even don't even bother.
I think we need to close up the show before we get any more crazier.
All right. Well, then that's what we'll do. All right. Okay. So that's gonna be it for us. We'll do part 2 of season 2 of The Simpsons next Friday when we get back. And then Wednesday we'll be back with Ace Attorney part 2. So take a look at that when that happens. And,
I need to remember what voices I used.
Oh, don't worry, I'll remind you. All right. Hey, if you liked what we did for tonight, and you want to see more stuff, like I said in the beginning, make sure that you help us with the engagement. Like us, subscribe to us, hit the bell. Just be careful that those notifications don't get recognized sometimes. So make sure you take a look in your subscriptions in case you want to see something new come up with us. And we'll catch you all next week. Until then, enjoy your MLK Day. Enjoy your 3-day weekend if you have Monday off. And we'll catch you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Time to close the laundry.